And then next up it is Paul Ura in the Mazda RX Vision Gran Turismo concept. Then it's Jose Serrano, 7th on the grid ahead of Randy Roush in the Chevrolet Corvette C7. Pico Romero heads Genesis's charge. He lines up 9th position with Daniel Penco, the Spaniard, alongside him. Next up, it is Mateo Estevez in 11th place. And 12th and last on the grid will be Coque Lopez in the Lexus. Won last time out a few weeks ago, just to remind you. Now, as you can see, the weather conditions far from ideal. It is sopping wet out there. No choice for these drivers here, Jimmy, to start on the wet compound of tyre.
No, you have to do that, otherwise you'd just be completely gripless for the first couple of laps or so. But Medina out front in that Ferrari, feeling fast, obviously, as he said a bit earlier on. So if you're him, really, ideally, you want to just eyes forward and try and build as big a gap as you can whilst the car is feeling good. Of course, tyre wear on as well here, so easy to burn these wet tyres if it gets into difficult conditions. But I think it's going to be a fun race this one, Tom.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, because of course it can dry out. There is that possibility with the dynamic weather. Will someone go onto the intermediate tyres? Will they make a gamble and go straight onto the dry combat tyres? We'll wait and see what is going to happen over the course of this 28-lap race. But round 2 of the 2024 Gran Turismo World Series is about to begin. We're ready to go racing here in Prague as Mohamed Medina and Ferrari will lead the field across the line, and we are underway then here in the Red Bull Ring as we head up towards the first corner. Medina, Hensey, then Fenton, Drumont, Laboutelet. Don't expect any rash moves in towards turn 1, out of turn 1, into turn 2, and then the heavy braking zone of turn 3 is where we should see drivers getting themselves in position for the first overtakes. You saw Fenton there running a little bit wide on the exit of turn 1. That's left him under attack already from Kylian Drumont in the Subaru as we head up the rise in towards turn 3. Medina's got the lead. Second place there for Hensey, looks pretty sure, but what about what's happening further behind? Drumont right on the back of Fenton. Don't think he was able to launch a move, but you got Laboutelet and Ura in position there side by side. Fifth place for Laboutelet as he drags alongside and then past the Mazda and up through into fifth place.
The Randy Roush in the background in the Chevrolet going around the outside, perhaps of Paul Ura, and Mazda who's looking to the inside of Laboutelet. Cars getting very close contact there between Hensey and Medina at the head of the field. Estevez there having an awful time, I think, spinning down at the T4 there at the back of the pack, so bad to worse for him. But meanwhile, the mid-pack is everyone for themselves. Contact again, I think this time between Roush and Drumont. These guys are fighting for their lives whilst racing each other out there. Horrible conditions to drive in these, but this really shows the talent of these drivers, and it shows the strengths and weaknesses of the cars too, as Drumont just struggles to get the throttle there out of the Subaru. Fenton hangs on in third for now.
You can throw a blanket over these drivers, they're so close to one another. From third place back, Medina, meanwhile, has pulled out a 1.3-second advantage over Hensey on this first lap. Then the cork in the bottle is Daniel Fenton at the moment, the Mercedes driver who we ride on board with, and we're not even at the end of the first lap. Out of the final corner we go then. Is anybody going to think about a lunge in towards turn 1? You'll be brave if you think about doing that, because it could leave you under threat in towards turn 3. Drumont, though, decides that discretion is the better part of valour, looks for a half move up the inside, but eventually ducks back into the wheel tracks of the Mercedes. He's trying to line it up on the exit of turn 1 and into that braking zone of turn 3.
Yeah, that AMG is just a roadblock right now. No one can find a way around. On board now with Paul Ura in that Mazda. Of course, highlighted by that rotary engine. Look in the mirror there, the bottom right-hand corner. You can just about see that BMW being pushing along. Paul Ura, Laboutelet on the outside. They all try and break off line, just about managing to keep out of each other's way. Roush there, getting by Drumont. So Roush up into fourth place. Now Ura's following through as well. That Subaru really struggling on the straights, and unfortunately this is not a circuit you're going to have a car that's slow in a straight line.
Yes, left him under attack here from Laboutelet. Oh, moves under braking there as Drumont leaves no room for his countryman. Laboutelet's going to try and rough it around the outside. I don't think he had much choice in the matter, but he's turned it into an opportunity. He's got ahead of Drumont and he's almost side by side with Ura. Just has to back out of it again on the exit of that corner and duck back into the wheel tracks, but that was very close and aggressive racing. Ura's a little bit wide. That's left the door open for Drumont to go through into sixth place or fifth place possibly, but no, not for now. Drumont just sits there in sixth position, but all the while they're swabbling, look at what's happening in front. Medina, Hensey, all clearing off into the distance. They're nowhere to be seen.
It's hard to overstate how difficult this is. Just driving around in these conditions at this speed is impressive in itself. Whilst trying to race each other, this is where these guys earn their reputation. So the Laboutelet now is focusing on him in the BMW P7 in the pack, and there's Drumont as well. A bit slow off the exit is Paul Ura. Drumont's now putting alongside. Will he have to get by the Laboutelet? He's going to push his fellow countryman through there, up into P5 and P6. Go BMW and Subaru. Up the inside goes Thomas Laboutelet. No, he thinks better of it for now. Still on the place with no Paul Euro hanging on the outside somehow in that Mazda. Has to back out of it finally, but that was great working together there by Leboutelet and Drummond, but maybe the stewards will have a look at that.
It's allowed Serrano an opportunity to go through up into 7th place there, so Euro has just lost out a little bit whilst they were going side by side into that braking zone of turn 3. I'll tell you what, I win every time we go into them, because it just takes one locked brake, and these drivers don't run ABS, so one snatch brake and you're going straight off to the scene of the crash.
I'm waiting for that one guy who's got flying across the inside of the picture there, out of control, wiping somebody out. Hopefully it won't happen, but of course it can happen. So still here, on to lap 3 there. Badima and Hensei there, really not separated by much. Very, very quick in these wet conditions are the Ferrari and Hensei. 3.5 seconds back is Spencer. So these guys seemingly the ones to beat him.
That time to the high 138s for the two leaders. We expect the crossover time, by the way, to go on to intermediate tyres, about 137 there and thereabouts. You can see Badima with that big old slide in that Ferrari 458 as he came through the right-hander. But that's the crossover time. Rain is still coming down as it stands for now, so just keep an eye on the weather conditions. If it starts to dry out, when the times get down into the 1 minute 37s, that's when we should see drivers thinking about boxing for inters.
Yeah, I'd love to take a look at the weather radar, of course, a feature in Gran Turismo 7 to see sort of what's coming, what's happening there. But wipers still on for now. Rain is still falling for now, so we'll keep an eye on that and see if things get any better. We're going to T1 again. Badima stretching his legs a little bit. The gap now up to 1.2 seconds, but it seems a little bit weak through T1. That's where Hensei comes back at him. There's a replay. Here's what happened here between Jose Serrano and Leboutelet. We go down towards T4. Heavy on the brakes. Contact there. Oh, off goes Serrano. He spins. Oh, what a shame there for Jose Serrano after such a strong showing at the Montreal round.
Yeah, a bit of a hand-fisted attempt there for the Spaniard, I'm afraid to say, as he went into the braking zone of turn 4. Leboutelet, we ride on board with him and Drummond, all in a shape there, and then contact spins round Drummond. Oh, Killian, what on earth is going on with your 2024 season? He made a mistake in the Nations Cup, if you remember, back in Montreal, and it goes from bad to worse for him. He must have walked under a stepladder or, I don't know, something along the lines of that. You know, it's in a black cat or something today, because it's just not working out at all.
I love to see a replay of that, but I think Leboutelet was quite heavily involved in that incident there. We'll comment on that when we see more. For now, and there you go, the stewards having a look at that. We have live stewards here with the event, straight into the action, straight into the investigation. We'll get back to you as soon as we know more. But that does put, as you say, Killian Drummond in the back of the pack, and Coque Lopez will be happy with that because he's getting enough place out of it. But not moving forward. Someone who is moving forward is Estevez for Honda, up to P7 right now after starting from the back of the grid. So great racing so far for Estevez. Can he continue?
We have a look at the weather radar in our commentary box, and there's a little bit of a break in the weather we can see coming along the way in a few moments' time. So if that does start to ease off ever so slightly, we'll keep an eye on things and see what happens. There is Nico Romero driving for Genesis. As I mentioned earlier on, Genesis podium for them in the World Finals at the back end of 2023 in Barcelona. Can they repeat that feat over the course of this year? Just to remind you, as we now see the weather radar, you can see there heavy rain at the moment, but it is going to start to break a little bit later on in this one. So if that does happen, or when that does happen, I should say, then we'll see drivers changing their strategy and thinking on the fly.
I love that we have that in the game. In real life, the weather radar is something you just don't like looking at, especially if you're at the Nürburgring. But anyway, here is a replay of what happened between Drummond and Leboutelet. So we're coming down to T4 there. A bit of contact on the way in. Is there something? No, he loses it on his own. No, he doesn't. He almost does. Yeah, and the contact there with Leboutelet just spins it around. But you can see all the way in, really struggling with the rear of that Subaru, sorry. So I think that maybe that car just not quite the right car to be in these conditions. But still he'll do well to come back from this, but back to the field for now.
Unfortunately there for Killian as he sits down at the back of the field in 12th position for now. There is Hensei. He's keeping Badima honest, actually, isn't he, over the course of this first few laps in both of their first races in the Gran Turismo World Series. They're driving like they've been here for a fair amount of time. You can see 4.2 seconds there and thereabouts over some parts of this lap that they put into Daniel Fenton, who sits in 3rd place. You can see Leboutelet getting a 3-second penalty for that collision with Killian Drummond. Well, we wondered the stewards might have a look at it, and they have, and they've decided to hit Leboutelet with a 3-second penalty, which is going to drop him down to about 10th place there and thereabouts once he served him.
I mean, yeah, it was there. He spun Drummond. end of this race pretty much. So yeah, penalty there I think is fair in that situation. So meanwhile, in the mid-back, Paul Euro was the first person to gain from the Boutelet's penalty. You can see that 3 seconds above the top of his car there. As it comes to the penalty zone, he will be forced to brake for 3 seconds. So you lose a lot more than that in reality. And then, of course, the time getting back up to speed again is massive, especially given around here a lot of high-speed acceleration zones. But on board with Paul Euro, looking flustered, I think, at the moment. Not looking like he's very comfy. That Mazda proving difficult in these conditions so far. Almost collects the back of the Boutelet there and picks up his own penalty. But we've seen a lot of drivers doing that, just sort of being off the corner, trying to avoid too much rotation, trying to get it all under one hit and accelerate in one straight line instead of accelerating with a bit of lock-on, because that's an easier way of just getting traction that way.
Just want Estevez a little bit closer in that Honda there as well. That Honda's not been particularly fast actually so far this week, especially in these wet conditions. You see Estevez struggling with the traction as he comes out of turn 4.
Estevez's lap time, so you look at that, he's matching the leader pretty much at the moment, so he's really quick as Estevez. So keep an eye on him. We did say he'll come back through the field, didn't we? Here he comes now in that Honda, in P7. I'd say the rear engine cars, the mid-engine cars, having a bit of a better time at the moment, the front engine cars.
Yeah, snap of oversteer there for Euro as you saw him just coming through that right-hander. His Boutelet serving his penalty, moves off of the racing line. Such closing speed they have as Boutelet putting into emerge about 7th place, a little bit higher up the order than I thought. Penko and Romero also under investigation for a collision as well. They're in 8th and 9th place, Romero and Penko respectively at the moment. Out of the final turn we go. And across the timeline, so it's all pretty quiet on the western front as it stands for now, but it's going to bubble up a little bit later. Where are we at in terms of lap times? We're still in the low 138s at the moment, so we're not close enough for a changeover. The rain is still falling down, but at a lighter intensity than it was. Let's have a look and see if we can work out what happened here with Romero and Penko. Into turn 4, downhill on the braking, Penko on the inside, bit of contact there with Romero. I don't think that cost them too much.
That's racing that one. I say that, not stupid to say it. Well, no further fraction. There you go. Finally, I've got one right after all this time. It's taken 8 years, not long it's been. Oh, Lopez there, forgetting that it's the pedal on the left that slows you down. Or you've got clubs, I guess, but slows you down too. And back down to 12th place. He goes behind Kylian Dumont. Coque Lopez is struggling big time in that Lexus.
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to try and launch an attack immediately on Kylian Dumont and get himself ahead. Down into the braking zone we go. Closes right up on the back of the Subaru, and it's just not working out at all here for Coque Lopez. He doesn't look comfortable. Look at the way he's driving. Look at his driving position as well. He looks tense in his shoulders, doesn't he? You can see him fighting the car, scrabbling for grip and trying to find performance that just doesn't seem to be there for the Spaniard.
Yeah, it's important in wet conditions to sort of let the car move a little bit. If you're trying to put in this really big aggressive inputs, that's when the car has the biggest issue. It looks like he's sliding through this midsection here. So we have to hope, for Coque's sake anyway, the weather does lighten up a little bit. Again, our weather radar suggesting rain's still coming down pretty decently at the moment. So we've got a long way left in this race. Lap 8 of 28 as Badima comes across to start lap 8. And here is a replay there of Coque Lopez. So this is going to be quite scary on board if you're Coque Lopez. They hit the brake pedal. Nothing's happening. They've got to get out of the way. Oh, you can imagine just a feeling there of, am I about to wipe someone out? No, okay, but no worries.
Yeah, that really talks like a rabbit's nose, wasn't it? Unfortunately there for Coque Lopez, just about managing to avoid contact into turn 3. Now Serrano versus Drummond. Drummond starting to come together in this race. 8th lap out of 28 we are on. Here in the Manufacturers' Cup Grand Final. Euro versus Estevez a bit further up the road. Estevez now finding that pace. He got ahead of Boutelet a couple of laps ago. Now his next target is going to be the Spaniard. So out of turn 3 and into turn 4 could be the opportunity that the Honda driver is looking for as he makes his recovery through the field following the difficult qualifying. Side by side we run. Estevez is going to be on the outside into the downhill braking zone. There's a bit of hip and shoulder and a bit of contact. That's going to run Estevez a little bit wide, but can he find traction on the exit of the corner to get ahead of Euro? Side by side they go through into the next left-hander. Estevez is going to have track position here if he can just firm it on the inside, but has he got the grip there to get ahead of Euro? No, Euro sweeps around the outside and holds on to 5th place.
What an impressive drive so far by Estevez. This guy started in P11 and is up to P6 and challenging Paul Euro in P5. I think he's got the pace to get by, but Paul Euro, very experienced in Gran Turismo 7, just putting the car in the right places right now, but the pace isn't there for him. It's just a matter of time, I think.
Drummond just losing position there to Jose Serrano for 10th position as well. On board we ride here with Thomas Boutelet. Pole position for BMW back in Amsterdam. That seemed like ever such a long time ago, no? There was a bit of of contact, isn't there, going through that final corner? Estevez now under a bit of pressure. Meanwhile, Laboutelet versus Estevez as we come across the timing line to be in lap 9. Laboutelet with the inside line with track position, with the grip under braking, but does he want to get ahead of Estevez, or does he want to leave himself open to the opportunity into turn 3? Estevez run to the curve on the outside. Laboutelet's going to try and pick up his slipstream here on the exit of turn 1 and then run it for a move surely on the inside into turn 3. The Frenchman closes up onto the back of the Argentine then. Estevez defends track position on the inside and just holds on to 6th place for now. So nice, clean, fair racing in the mid-pack here.
The rain's getting a little bit lighter, but we've still got a heavy rain zone coming in there from the south. The wind is blowing in north direction, so we're bringing that rain zone across. So it's not quite done in terms of rain, but already there's some of these guys searching for the water, it seems. And these wet tyres, they've been on since the start of the race. They're going to start to wear somewhat. But if you're Estevez right now, you're in a bit of a tricky situation because you're trying to overtake Paul Euro. But if you do that, you put yourself back into the clutches of the car behind Laboutelet. And we've seen him, he's elbows out all the way as Laboutelet in this race. So definitely one to watch out for. But Estevez needs to try and focus to turn 1 again. Laboutelet is playing the mid to the same if you're yourself there at some speed. That being a problem for now. So the position they're now side by side coming up. The track just able to move that exits but he was much faster on exit there, gaining a 10th for this. He was a fan himself, he's feeling the pressure, he is. I mean, you say first driver to blink, the first driver at the head of the pack to go to those radical like this, but much bit was in tank. The wet tyre is still okay, but now here it is. He was fast, it's going to be Medina trying to stay on the drier part and really using that intermediate the track. Medina is the court to that's because they've even it's a little bit over the but right now, but this battle, the gap is about 10 seconds between Fenton, the leading car, and intermediate Safaris, and that plus the overtake. Derouche on the soft tyre, Estevez and Euro on the time being as we've got the time 30 on board at the moment, and he's going to zone there. The Trump's but just of the circuit. The slicks cannot deal with the water, and he slides out there. And Laboutelet after hit Ballard is 6 point thing over 3 seconds faster. It's still this second the gap is now under a second, and Hengste there can sniff the opportunity of victory. It's within his grasp. Medina moves over off the racing line. There's 2 corners now remaining. It's Ferrari versus Porsche. It's Medina versus Hengste. It's winner takes all stakes. Medina goes to defend the final corner. Hengste goes for the move on the outside. It's a drag to the line in the Manufacturers' Cup. Is it Medina and Ferrari? Is it Hengste and Porsche? Medina has done it! Fantastic! Mohamed Medina wins for Ferrari in Prague in the Manufacturers' Cup Grand Final from Benjamin Hengste and Thomas Laboutelet. I tell you what, a longer final lap any other circuit and Medina would have lost the racing lead. Point